Greetings, I'm Rick Reinhardt. I work with CPWR, the Center for Construction Research and Training, and I have over 30 years of experience in the world of occupational safety and health and spent 4 of those years working at the OSHA Directorate of Construction. I'm going to talk or present some basic concepts about workers' rights for job safety and health protection that every worker should know and understand. So at the end of this presentation, you should be able to list and give examples of workers' rights under the Occupational Safety and Health Act. And I'm going to talk a bit about what that act is, discuss responsibilities for employers in creating a safe workplace, and reflect on workers' responsibilities when promoting workplace safety. So to start, I've put together just a very short quiz, and let's jump right in. So I'm going to make a statement, and you have to decide if this is true or false. Here we go. The law says your employer is responsible for providing you with a safe and healthy workplace. True or false? Correct. True. Employers have the responsibility to tell you about the hazards on the work site. Again, that's true. And workers must follow safety and health rules where they work. For example, workers must wear hearing protection such as earplugs in noisy places. That's true. I mean, and this last question, the third question on the quiz, I think it's important for all workers to recognize that they too have a responsibility on the job to keep themselves and others safe and free from injury or illness, such as following safety and health rules where they work. For example, OSHA rules say that workers must wear hearing protection, such as earplugs in noisy places. Employers might give workers the earplugs because the noise levels require them to do so. And in turn, workers are responsible for wearing the earplugs that their employer gave them. So while you have many rights, there's also responsibilities that workers have in the workplace. So these rights for workers and requirements for employers come from the Occupational Safety and Health Act, or the OSH Act, which was passed 50 years ago to prevent workers from being killed or otherwise harmed at work. The law requires employers to provide their employees with working conditions that are free of known dangers. The OSH Act created the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, which we know of as OSHA, and it's in their responsibility, which they are in the Department of Labor, the U.S. Department of Labor. The responsibility is to set and enforce protective workplace safety and health standards. OSHA also provides information, training, and assistance to employers and workers. So the OSHA Act gives workers the right to safe and healthful working conditions. So in other words, it is the duty of employers to provide workplaces that are free of known dangers that could harm employees. This law also gives workers important rights to participate in activities to ensure their protection and the protection of their coworkers from job hazards. So I have a short video here that I'd like to play.
I have rights.
As a young worker, I have the right to say no to work that seems dangerous.
To report an unsafe workplace.
To be trained in working safely on the job.
To be paid fairly and take breaks.
I have the right to be given equipment that keeps me safe at work.
To a workplace free of serious hazards.
To ask for an investigation of my workplace.
And my employer cannot punish me for using my voice.
I may be young.
It may be my first day.
I could be learning a new skill.
It might even be my first job, but
all workers
have the same rights.
So what rights do all workers have under OSHA? Well, you have the right to work in a safe place, to receive safety and health training in a language that you understand, and also in a vocabulary that you understand. have a right to ask questions if you do not understand instructions or if something just seems unsafe. And you have a right to use and be trained on required personal protective equipment, such as hard hats, fall protection, goggles, and earplugs. You also have the right to payment of medical care if injured or you become ill at work, the right to exercise your workplace safety rights without any retaliation or discrimination. And in the worst case scenario, I mean, you have a right to confidentially complain or file a complaint with OSHA if you believe there's a serious hazard or that your employer is not following OSHA standards. So OSHA has also created an official poster that employers must prominently display in the workplace. This poster describes rights and responsibilities under the OSHA Act. The poster is free, and employers or anybody can download it from OSHA.gov. So speaking up, so one important component of knowing your rights is that you have the right to speak up. Never feel bad about seeking or asking questions. For example, talk to a supervisor if you see dangers at work. Trust your instincts. Don't be silent when confronted with a problem at work. If there is a problem, it could get worse, and you or a coworker could end up getting hurt. It's illegal for an employer to fire someone for reporting work hazards or other safety problems at work. And most importantly, well, not most importantly, but very important, is that if you ever get injured at work or someone you know, you must report that injury or work-related illness to your employer. And this is very important because if, let's say you cut yourself and you do not report it to an employer, and a few days later it gets badly infected, and you have to take off work because of it, your employer can basically say, this was not done. How do I know this was done on my work site? So it's very important that you report any injury or illness at work. And remember, the law protects you from being punished for reporting safety concerns. So by stepping forward and saying something, you help make your workplace safer for you and your coworkers. Now, this is an infographic produced by CPWR where I work. It was created with OSHA through an alliance program that we have with them to collaborate and produce materials to help construction workers. So in this case, young construction workers. And you can see some of the statistics on the bottom of the slide, where more than 1,000, almost 2,000 teen construction workers ages 18 and 19 missed work in 2017 because of work-related injuries. And the point of this infographic is really to encourage workers to speak up if they see something hazardous. It's very important. So I have another little brief quiz that I've put together, and let's see how you do. So this is the federal agency that handles complaints about workplace health and safety. If you said OSHA, you're correct. It's illegal for your employer to punish you for doing this. Think about what we just talked about. Reporting a safety problem at work. Your employer must give you these health and safety protections on the job. See if you can name two based on what we talked about a minute ago. Here are some examples. A safe and healthy workplace, safety training, protective clothing and gear, personal protective equipment, PPE, and payment of medical care if injured at work. So in summing up, OSHA enforces health and safety laws in the United States. Employers are responsible for providing a safe and healthy workplace, safety training, safety equipment, and workers should know their rights in the workplace, but they also need to know their responsibilities, like reporting hazards and following all safety rules, and reporting if they get injured. You can't be fired for reporting work hazards or other safety problems. I think that's something through our careers that we should all keep in mind. Remember. Remember to trust your instincts and don't be afraid to speak up if you have a problem at work. You see a problem at work, this is very important. A work injury or illness can change your life forever. And there's so many examples of this. You must report any injury or illness to your employer. And finally, learn about the risks and hazards at work, and please take action to protect yourselves and others. Think about this through your career. That's the end. Thank you.